Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are, and welcome to our review of episode 7 of Shulk or She Hulk. And this episode is titled I Need Therapy because the dick was so good and they ghosted me. Joining me are Cheeto, previously on That Guy, and Zam. Hello, guys. Hope you're all well. I don't really care. Let's get on with it.
All right, damn. Fuck you
How
too,
you
then.
doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
eat it. Okay, so in this one we kind of get a cute little rom com starts to the episode, very rom comish, and you can feel you can tell the kind of writers are very comfortable in this area because it is well executed. Uh, with the guy that Jen met at the wedding, I was going to say Zam met at the wedding, but whatever floats your boat, baby. But with the guy that Jen met at the wedding in the previous episode, they're taking it slow. They're going on a couple of dates. Then, you know, she gets she shag. They shag. He gives her
we
good
were
dick and then ghosts her.
Wednesday. Yeah.
And then we have Jen that's kind of distracted throughout the episode, trying to constantly looking at her phone, messaging to see the messaging her friends, and the usual kind of stuff when somebody's ghosted after a couple of dates and a good shag session and that. And then she gets a phone call from a security guard who's meant to be keeping tabs on Emil Blonsky, and he's like, "Look, I need you to come with me because
His
his
inhibitor got
tag
all
has gone
fucked up.
offline, and I need to know what's a guan. So come with me, and I need you in case he breaks my jaw, kind of thing." So off she goes, and here we have the explanation. His tag's fine. It just got electrocuted because he was chasing his chicken.
That's what she
He's,
so
said.
we, so we
yeah, that's
think.
what
I
she
mean,
said.
yeah.
He's chasing the cock.
He's chasing the cock, and so is she. And we get this, moment where obviously Jen is preoccupied. She doesn't want to be there, and out of nowhere, when she's about to leave, we get two characters that are having a fight, and they total her Prius. And so here we are. We're in an episode now where Jen's going to stay at a retreat and try to find herself and love herself, along with a bunch of other characters. So before we go into that aspect of it, what did you guys think of what I've described up to now?
Uh,
Cheeto, sorry.
I it was all right. I mean, this seemed like an episode of Friends. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I mean, it was. I don't know. Like, first off, can we just all admit that we know that the what's his name, Josh,
Yeah.
is the masked guy from the Wrecking Crew Thunderball? Like,
Yeah.
can we just acknowledge that that's him? Like, we all know it.
mhm.
And then what's his nuts was there from the Wrecking Crew at the retreat, and it's all. I feel like this is all a Blonsky thing, but like, I don't know, like, I want to like Blonsky. And that's what's so great about it, is that I want to like Blonsky, but I know that he's probably one of the ones pulling the strings here. I know that he's probably working with the leader, who is probably behind Intelligentsia, and
Yeah.
so as I said, I'm very middle of the road about this. As I said, it's not. I don't feel like this is super good, but it's nowhere near bad.
Yeah. Okay. Zam.
I I despise to a degree of popular villains becoming good guys. But I'm going to make an exception for Emil Blonsky. I like him as a good guy. I really do. I really hope it's genuine and it's not a fucking false. It's not I'm about to say a false flag. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology, but I really hope it's
A
not
facade.
not the case. A facade. I mean, so far everything I've seen so far, it goes down to the side of he has turned a new leaf because it makes no sense for him not to. I mean, he could have broken out of jail if he had the opportunity. All of that. Why would he go down this particular route? He's not allowed to turn into abomination anymore. He's kind of followed those footsteps and stuff. He's married all those women and all of that. He seems to have gone down the right path, and I'm hoping that for me regarding this episode, I'm genuinely hoping that's the case. And also, I actually really like this fucking episode. At first, I was a bit iffy on it, but I've learned to appreciate this episode for what it is, and it's just, as you said, mockingly, but I liked it about Jen finding herself, and appreciating who she is, and not letting people walk all over her. And it was kind of interesting to know that she's got this alternative personality or alternative character as She-Hulk, and she can see what it's like to be the cool kid, even though she's almost like Steve Rogers in that sense, if you know where I'm coming from, somebody who was a small
went
little
from like
weakling,
weird to a cool guy kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly. So there's something in that, and I very much appreciate it all, and it was a very sweet episode just generally, so I liked it a lot.
Okay, previously on that guy.
Yes. All I can say is, the angst. Thank God I'm not a teenager anymore. I don't miss those days. But I thought it was, a good episode. I didn't think it was a great episode, but I didn't think it was one of the worst ones either. I thought these last two were pretty bad, but this one was okay. I like what they're doing with Emil Blonsky. It's like it's a will he or won't he kind of situation. You don't really know what's going to happen with Emil, and I'm like, I really hope that they keep him as a good guy, but I don't know if he'll stay that way. I'm curious to see where his character arc will go. But for Jen, girl power, find yourself, girl. You don't need no man. You're strong and independent, blah, blah, blah. Good for you. I thought it was a good episode.
Cool. Okay. So I'll just carry on with the rest of it because there wasn't that much in this. So obviously at the retreat, we get a couple of more kind of Z-list characters kind of thrown. So obviously we had the mutant Aguila, we had Manbull, we had Porcupine Man. Oh, I forget who the black guy was.
The vampire guy, but
Saracen,
I don't remember his
I think
name.
it was Saracen. I
Mhm.
think. And we got
B-Tech Blade.
B-Tech Blade, and we got the Wrecking Crew guy and all this kind of stuff. And I agree with Cheeto. I think like part of this is just one big ruse, and they're all working for intelligentsia. Even the security guard as well, and just trying to kind of break and maybe try and get Jen on their side. Okay, all right, attention seeker, go away. That's just the cat has come in. But yeah, so obviously we get the kind of group therapy session. Do I need to go into that much detail over it? Not really.
No.
That's pretty much the crux of the episode. And then the mid-credit scene that wasn't a mid-credit scene now because I think they've just lost so much faith that they're putting it all before that.
Yep.
Of course, we get the reveal of the thing that everybody knew in because the show has no subtlety whatsoever. Of Josh that took a creepy picture of her and somehow got her blood. Of course, we didn't see that part, but that's fine. It's not something we need to see.
I was kind of wondering how they were getting her DNA. I'm like, well, he had sex with her, so
scraped his dick off at the end and just put it in a bag.
He's like scraping, like I'm like,
so there we go.
His username is Hulk King. I'm not sure if he's like the Q of queuing on, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's his username.
I think it would be hilarious, and I don't really want this to happen. But my thought is when like Hulk King, like what if it was Bruce Banner? Like what if this whole show was just Bruce from the beginning? He's telling her, listen, you can't let your blood get out there in the world. So now he's made this elaborate ruse where now he's trying to get her blood and say at the very end, he's like, see? This is why
it's the leader doing this because I mean that would just piss everyone off.
It would, but I'm like, I could. That's a scenario I saw, and I'm like, oh god.
It'd be one of those where it'd be kind of like, wait, what the hell just happened? But then you'd look at it and you go, huh? That's how that scenario would be. You'd be like, huh? Okay. Then.
Yeah.
Sorry. What?
Yeah, go on. No worries, mate. Anyway, so. I'll say one thing about the episode is that though the characters that we had in it, these kind of Z-list characters, I'd find them more interesting as Thunderbolts than the lineup that got announced to play the Thunderbolts, which is basically Black Widow 2, if I'm being honest. And I wouldn't mind seeing more of them, but overall, I'm just the show's just all over the bloody place. If I'm being perfectly honest. it doesn't know what it wants to be. 1 minute it wants to be a sitcom, 1 minute it wants to be a superhero show, next minute it wants to be lovey-dovey, and it's kind of fallen to the wayside for me personally. And yeah, it's a shame because I did enjoy like episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, but 1, 6, and 7 I've not really enjoyed that much. Though 7 I could take or leave it. To be honest, I think the leader is suffering from gamma poisoning, which the Banner genetics protected them from. That's why he needs She-Hulk's blood. Yeah, probably
Maybe.
to try and heal himself. Yeah. This show is seen through the lens of She-Hulk, not Marvel. She's the narrator. To me, explains why it's so vastly different. Yeah, I agree on that part. But it's also, if we're being honest, the show is all over the bloody place. We're wasting mutants. We're just kind of throwing them in there now, out of nowhere.
And
And
I
it's-
hate to
go on.
go. I hate to say it, but I'm kind of ready for it to be over. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm like, okay, the first few episodes were good, but now I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of gonna be ready for it to be done here in the next couple weeks. I'm kind of looking forward to its ending.
Well, and
Okay,
here's the thing:
Gino?
is that I mean, I was thinking that this was going to be a more trial per episode type format, and I mean, that maybe would get boring, but that's what I expected. I expected every episode was going to be a certain trial, and and I kind of wish it was still that way. I mean,
Yeah.
like this whole Blonsky retreat thing was okay, but at the same time, there should have been some kind of court case going on at the same time in the city. Maybe it shouldn't have been Jen. Okay. But we could have seen more of. I mean, but there's a lot we haven't seen yet. Frogman's still supposed to come, and he hasn't. Daredevil, the biggest troll ever. Like I'm pretty sure he's going to be
maybe the leader.
Well, Frogman will be the next episode, and Daredevil will probably be the final episode.
Or if Daredevil's chasing Frogman.
Well, my theory is, that Jen's being awarded she's nominated, as female lawyer of the year or some shit like that. I believe Matt Murdock has come down to LA to receive the male lawyer of the year, which is why he's there in the first place. And then he gets, he kills two birds with one stone.
Sorry, it will make sense to him being there. That's for sure.
Because Matt Murdock is never out of Hell's Kitchen. That's the only fucking place he's ever at. You never, from all the versions of him I've seen, he's always been there. He's always been in New York. So to see him in LA is kind of unique.
I don't mind him being there. Just they need to give him a reason to be there. Like even if it's like, hey, this court case has been expedited to, someone you're representing has been expedited back to LA. I don't know legal jargon. I'm sure somebody who knows legal jargon screaming at me saying you can't do that. But I'm like, for some reason, a legal battle goes from New York, or someone who's in New York goes to LA, and Matt has to represent him because he represented that person in New York. So, maybe he believes he's innocent, but he has to go to California. But give it a good reason. Don't be like, hey, I'm here to accept an award for the best blind lawyer of,
I come to think of it, that's something Matt
I wouldn't put it past this show.
about.
Yeah,
he wouldn't give a flying fuck about an award. You know what I mean? That's
I know. Well, this is Daredevil.
I would.
Barnes has put some comments up that I disagree with, because I don't think Marvel has the kind of cranial capacity to think like that. If I'm being perfectly honest, because
no, they won't do that.
Everything has just been lackluster and dumbed down. And look, let's just give our overall ratings for this episode, and then we can chat about other stuff. Because I was just disinterested for the most part in this episode. I cared more about the dumb kind of ragtag characters than I did about anything else. Because I'm always a fan of ragtag characters. But
really,
Zan, let's get your rating.
Avengers fan.
I'm going to give this I'm going to probably get a lot of heat for this, but I'm going to give this an 8. I like this episode more than I should have.
You bastard! You bastard!
Yeah,
how dare you like something?
You're allowed to like something. Like, I mean,
but I think this is kind of a throwaway, even filler episode to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like it. I thought there was a moral core to it, a sweetness to it. So I appreciate it for what it was.
Okay, Cheeto.
I'll give it a 6. As I said, I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it was spectacular. I mean, there were feel good moments in it, but yeah, I mean, I think the ragtag group of should be Thunderbolts really kind of elevated it a little bit. I enjoyed them more than I thought I would.
Yeah,
Um,
same. Yeah.
and I mean, you're right, Emil Blonsky, Tim Roth. I mean, he's a gem. Like
Yeah.
I love him. I love him more than even when he was originally in the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Ginger's favorite MCU movie to date.
Of all
So-
time.
It's not my least favorite, that's for sure. One of them, but it's not the.
But
You know.
yeah, no, I think I'll stand on a 6. I mean, it's a very a very skeptical 6, as Zam would say.
Okay. And Jose?
6. It was all right, but it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. It was like, I'm glad I saw it, but another episode where I could watch it one time and then never again. And that's honestly how I feel about this episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5, and I'm only giving it a 5 because I just like the kind of Z-list characters, and Emil Blonsky were great in it. All the other stuff was just felt like a bad fucking sitcom with Jen's being ghosted and acting like a pleb. But
yeah, that honestly bugged me that she's so worried about this. She's this very successful lawyer, and I get at the end when she has her spiel, she says this guy just liked just Jen, and I'm like, not that there's anything wrong with Jen, but it's just like you're really pushing this to let us know that this guy is a bad guy. Like Josh is not just a, like a guy. So I really had more of an issue with that in this episode, that she was pining for this guy. And I'm like, you are a successful lady lawyer. I understand the guy was cute, but at the same time, and you like the attention, but it's just like, really? Are you really pining for this dude?
And to me, it felt forced too. Did you guys pick up on that? Where it's like they're shoving it right there in your face, and it's like, okay, we get it, we know. That's how I felt about it.
yeah, absolutely. Vance says, I'll give this episode a 6.7, same as She-Hulk's height. Loving that it's a show about nothing with an important piece to play.
Like Seinfeld.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, well, that is our review of She-Hulk out of the way. Now, are there any kind of Marvel matters you lot want to talk about? I know I did a video yesterday about Phase 4 seems to have really shook Marvel, and there's I feel like they're scrambling now to get some stuff out there that is kind of targeting the original kind of people that fell in love with the MCU, and some things are feeling rushed. And I feel that they're going to scrap some shows and make some changes, though don't quote me on that one. I might be wrong. So I just want to gauge your guys' thoughts. Cheeto, I'll start with you.
I'm a little discouraged that Armor Wars was moved to a movie, only because I was looking forward to getting more content in that realm of the. I've never been a huge fan of Iron Man, but I'm a huge fan of Rhodey and War Machine. So I mean, obviously in this show it would have been more about Rhodey and Ironheart, and just Hammer was supposed to come back. And especially with the recent movies, like besides a select few, they've kind of been lackluster. So they really got to have a solid script in order for this to pan out as a movie. But I kind of would almost like this in the form of a Falcon and Winter Soldier type vibe for Iron Man, like for the Armor Wars. Justin Hammer's getting his hands on Stark Tech, like armor versions of Stark Tech. And he's actually, there's just shadow play going on. And also, I mean, you have that could also, no, this would be, I think Armor Wars would technically be after Captain America 4. But I don't know. I was a little discouraged when I saw that, because I trust me, I think Rhodey deserves his own movie. I really do. But I really like the idea of delving into Rhodey and Ironheart, and even if you want to bring that little shit stain back from Iron Man 3 and have him as Iron Lad. You can even get some
Harley.
Yeah, whatever his stupid name is, I don't know. The kid that nobody knew at Endgame.
Harley.
So different, yeah. So I was a little discouraged because I was looking to spend more time with these characters, but a theatrical release, as long as it's good, I'll be okay with it. But yeah, okay. So
Cool. Zam?
Oh, just mentioning here, like probably one of the biggest like recasts we've had in a while within the MCU. Harrison Ford, apparently taking confirmed from what Daniel Vance has said to be taking over
What?
as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, which is
I don't know if I like that.
but it's
No,
just
I
that
don't like that.
he's a bit the guy's 80. Like how long
Yeah.
how long are you gonna have
Yeah,
Harrison Ford play that role?
You
Like
can't even understand what the fuck he's saying in half his bloody screens.
we get off my hanger. He'll be telling people
Right,
that and all
right.
that sort. Yeah.
It's like it'd be like if Vince McMahon was fucking Ross. He'd be like, "Ah, goddamn it, Hulk, I need you to do this," and it's like you can't understand a word he said.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm
go on,
sure
Zam.
just basically going on with what Cheeto says regarding Armor Wars, I'm a little bit discouraged that it's going to be a film. I think it's pretty cool to a degree that a sidekick character like War Machine gets his own movie. At the same
I
time, I
mean,
feel
look at Falcon. I mean, it's the exact same thing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but he's
Falcon is
not
now
being
getting his own movie too. Like, I mean, it's Captain America now because
as Captain America though, yeah. But I like there were certain things I was hoping that we would get like the return of Vision, and I was hoping that would be something Rhodey would be chasing Vision, but he knows Vision as Jarvis when he was the AI of Tony Stark. He's probably one of the few people who really knows Vision that well. So some of that I was hoping would like play out in the series. I'm not sure if that would play out in the movie. I'm not even sure if we would get Vision now in an Armor War movie. So
I was just gonna say, and I mean, the one thing is that the only way that this would be good is if they just didn't have like they started writing out what's it the board whatever when they start planning out a series or something.
Slate.
When they start
like
the slate.
Yeah, well, the slate of the show, and they were like, we really don't have enough even for 6 episodes here, and then they condense it down to a movie. That's the only reason that this would be good, because I'd rather them condense it down to a movie if they didn't have enough content than for them to stretch it out and make it feel like it's.
I personally think they didn't want to have this as a series so they don't have to make more or have the expectation of more. And I think they just want to get it out the way because I think they want to clear out all the stuff that they had planned that people are just like, what? I think they just want to get them out, get them done. Like, I don't think we'll see a second series of Echo. I'm very convinced that they might drop Agatha Harkness. And I think a lot of these shows are not going to get second or third seasons. They're just going to move on to newer pastures just to kind of get back to where the audience kind of wants it to be and to stop with all this stupid joking around. See, now Blade, because actually, before I do that, Jose, your thoughts?
I had a bit more to say.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Sorry, mate.
Yeah,
that's my fault. I interrupted him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to also add that like there's still characters in this universe that someone like Rhodey could bounce off this Sharon Carter, who I want to see a lot more now. Now she's like she's heel turned. She could play a prominent part against somebody like Rhodey. As well, we've got so many things established in all these television shows and some of these movies, the Thunderbolts as well. It'll be interesting to see where what we get out of Rhodey as well, and I hope he doesn't get lost in the woods, so to speak, after Armor Wars, and we are going to see him obviously in Secret Invasion as well. So I hope that catapults him. We see that as a catapult into other stuff. Yeah, that's it basically.
Cool. Yeah, Jose.
I would have liked to have seen, Rhodey get built up first, like you guys are saying, before they give him his own movie. But I think it's like, Ginger just said, I think they want to get him out of the way so we can get on to the bigger and better because, everyone's been clamoring. They're like, oh, we want the bigger and better. And we know, yes, Deadpool's going to be coming. That'll obviously be one of the bigger and better ones that everyone's anticipating. But yeah, with Rhodey, they just want to get him out of the way and be done with it so we can move on to the bigger and better stuff.
Yeah. I feel that's what I feel, and
obviously is part of the familiarity though. Like he's part of the old school. His character, even though he's played by a different person, was at the very beginning of the MCU. So I just feel like, like to shove him to one side when you still got somebody who's been there from the beginning is a
Yeah.
disservice to the character,
I
in my
get what you
opinion.
mean, but I honestly think they just want to put him in a film to get him out of the way and just put him back as a side character.
Hmm.
Maybe they just didn't have faith in the project here. And just a couple of comments here from Vance. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't change up the schedule with Blade having lost its director. Now, Blade is something I wanted to get on about because apparently the more information has come out about that, and that was going to be set in the 1920s,
Huh?
not modern times. Obviously,
What the hell?
it
Blade's not
works
immortal.
towards modern times. But they had a big issue with the script in that it was 90 pages long and there was only 2 action scenes in it. And
What?
Bloody
Marshalla
hell.
Ali was really pissed off about that. And clearly, the director and the writer were clashed, and so the director's gone. And I think now they're also going to bring in the people that are writing X-Men '97 to write Blade. So
Huh?
Blade's definitely not finished because
I have a great substitute, everybody, for the Blade movie. Ron Howard, everybody, he's right there. Ron Howard will save this project just like he does every time for Disney.
Ron Howard is a beast, though. But I like the idea of it being set in the 1920s. I really do.
I do too.
It could play into the times, the kind of timelines being skewed, and he kind of gets sucked into the present, or it could just be that because he's likely immortal and he doesn't age. That he
He's not
started
immortal.
off.
He does age. He's not
Huh?
immortal. He does age.
Yeah, but he ages very slowly. I
He
think
ages
Yeah.
slowly. Yeah,
he's kind of
so
like
Okay.
it's a
he's
bit
kind
like
of like a
Wolverine. He just
hybrid.
ages very slowly. And
Okay.
don't think of the films that we had with
Yeah. Fair enough.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just surprised. I'm just surprised to hear that it was only 90 pages and it had only 2 action scenes in it. Thank God that they're going to be kind of redoing some shit. They got to change some shit. It sounds like.
Yeah, it does sound like it wasn't going in the right direction. I suspect that will get pushed around in the scheduling.
Hmm.
To make movies like we used to see. I've seen that interview that Anthony Mackie talks about. Yes, Cheeto.
I just still regarding the Blade thing. Do you think it's a good idea to? I don't know because I don't know Wesley Snipes all that well. But do you think it's a good idea to bring him on board as some kind of producer because
No.
he does absolutely love the Blade character, or do you think it would just kind of be like getting his head shoved up his own ass?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
Jose.
say. I would say maybe like as a consultant, I would like to see him be in that kind of role. But I don't know if I'd like have him like have any actual say in it. Like he could give like his input into it and maybe give out some ideas. Like maybe I could see Wesley in that kind of role. But I don't know if like you put him back on screen and that kind of thing either.
Okay, Zam.
We should use him in the same capacity as we got with the Illuminati. Have him as like as an Easter egg sort of Blade. Like obviously we'll have Mahershala Ali Blade, but we'll have him the same way we had Professor X and Mr. Fantastic and all of that sort of shit. So use him as an Easter egg. And that way we thought we finally got Wesley Snipes' Blade in the MCU as well. I feel like out of all these sort of like Easter egg characters, we're missing him in the MCU. Considering we've got Professor X and
Yeah.
these other fuckers,
And we're getting all like the kind of
and
Deadpool and
Yeah.
those
Wolverine and all
X-Men.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call for fan service. I think okay, yeah. Now that you said that, I think like it's just like a quick cameo. He's here, yay. Okay, he's in the MCU.
A multiverse
blah, blah, blah.
character, yeah. A
Mhm.
multiverse Blade he'll play, and
As
in
that
and
I
out.
wouldn't.
Maybe.
As that I wouldn't hate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
would.
I wouldn't hate that. That'll be nice to kind of see. But yeah, it's going to be the next couple of months are going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of because shit changes all the time, and I'm very convinced there's going to be a massive overhaul coming with their slate. And obviously they were very vague on a lot of announcements and that, but if you saw like the trailer for Secret Invasion and how much better the tone was for that show, more serious, and it was more like a spy thriller, and people absolutely went crazy for it. It was very well received. They were like, oh, this is more like it, not so jokey, better tone, all this kind of stuff. And in the Marvel Legends group where I was, especially, it went down really, really well. And Andor is going down really, really well as well, because people are just clamoring for more serious tone. And so I'm kind of hoping that we get that now. We don't need this kind of light-hearted bullshit that we keep getting. So it's going to be, I'm more intrigued. It's a bit like wrestling. All the drama that's going on behind the scenes is
It's
a lot
more
more
interesting
interesting than the
than what's going
stuff
on the
that's coming out.
We need a variety of tones, you know. Like I think there's a place for She-Hulk, but everything feels like a version of She-Hulk, a different version of it, and it's just too much
Everything
of all
just
the
feels
same.
like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. This
Yeah.
everything feels like fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, and I am sick to death of it. I'm
Yeah.
and I'm sick. I'm also just sick and tired of them not having balls to do something. I'll say that we've got Werewolf coming out in a couple of weeks, the Werewolf by Night, and if you haven't seen the trailer for that, go fucking watch the trailer for that. It looks amazing. It looks violent, and it's shot and styled very much like the 1930s and 40s
Well,
cinema.
they made it
And
black and white because they account for the fact
lots
that
of
it's
blood.
gory as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of vampires, check out the new. Cool. There you go. If anyone wants to see that,
I forgot about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll try and squeeze it in.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
No, I don't think we do. Anybody got anything to plug before we leave?
Just going on about you mentioning how like serious tones are important. We're seeing that with Andor, and it's pretty much got everyone pretty much loves it, and it's not an action scene every second. It's hardly any joke. There is a level of subtle humor here and there, but it's not in your face with it all the time, and it's taking itself a lot more seriously, and that's what I guess we all want in our shows, and we want different tones. We want the laugh, but we want the seriousness as well. I am concerned, regardless, of the Disneyfication of shit. We've already got a Disneyfication of Kingpin, Daredevil just around the corner. I'm worried about him getting Disneyfied. Blade's going to get Disneyfied. God damn it, when the Punisher gets in here. I mean, the Punisher he kills people, with no remorse. He kills bad guys with no remorse. How are they gonna? I don't even think Disney are gonna go there with the Punisher. In my opinion, they just can't.
Do you think they're gonna have it be like where he kills somebody and then he breaks down and then he's all like, "Yeah"? They'll probably do that to Disney.
Well, they'll probably cuck him and sideline him with a more female badass character that does all the killing instead. That's the kind of fucking tone that Marvel are doing as well. That pisses me off.
I think
sidelining the kind of heroes.
He'll be like shooting at them and stuff like that, and they go, "Yeah, I'll give up. And then you tie them up, and the cops find them. The cops find them with their hands tied behind their back and shit.
Yeah. But you talk about like Punisher as well. The director they hired to do Deadpool 3 has me. Oh, fucking camera! Hello. Has me worried because he did like his more recent film he did was The Adam Project, which is one of my worst films of the year, and he's done a lot of like I can't remember what films he's done, but he's not done good films. And he did Free Guy, which was good, but some of the other stuff he's done has not been good. So that worries me, and it's very kind of it's very like PG-13 kind of like family type director. So that has me very fucking worried.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel go back on their word and they do make Deadpool PG.
Deadpool, yeah. I hope they don't. I really fucking hope they don't.
I honestly don't believe anything they say. Like they will lie straight to our face. Like, and I'm not saying like in a bad way. Like Endgame. Like they came out and said straight to our face, no, the name of Endgame has, or the name of the next Avengers movie has never been spoken. Yet it was called Endgame. So it's like, I mean, there are good and bad ways that, like, they're gonna lie to us to our face to shock us, and then they're also gonna lie to our face so they can do whatever the hell they want.
This is like when car salesmen, they'll tell you like you can get no credit on bad credit on approved credit. Like they'll tell you all different shit at the same time.
Caveats though.
Yep, just to get you to buy the car.
Yeah, but also I want to wrap this up because I don't want us to go on too long.
Mm-hmm.
Just quickly, some information that came out regarding Hulk that finally somebody alluded to, because I kept looking on the internet and it was just all confusing. So the distribution deal that Hulk had with Paramount was for 15 years, and it ends next year, which is why we're gonna go back. We're gonna get a Hulk solo film, and we're gonna end up with like your Planet Hulks and your World War Hulks, like a redo.
Fuck
So
yeah.
and Namor, nobody, Universal never had the rights to Namor. Disney were able to kind of introduce him in whenever they want, because he's a character that predates the creation of Marvel Comics. You know, he was in the comic book before Marvel became Marvel or whatever. So just clearing those up, and I'm going to wrap it up there. I want to thank my co-host for joining me, and yeah, we've got more stuff down the line. So check us out.
Lord of the Rings tomorrow.
Yeah, Lord of the
Lord
Rings
of the Rings
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
I can't wait to talk about that episode. I'm very excited.
I've only gone about halfway through it, but I'm gonna, when we get off of here, I'm gonna unminimize it and keep on watching.
All right, sweet.
All right,
I've
she
stopped
said.
watching it so I could binge it later on. But cool. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us, and see you around. Bye.